and singers of all kinds.
Ven acá, ellos van a filmar esto, que lo voy a enseñar a ellos un foto cuando estaba la Lupe y Rodríguez. ¿Tú te recuerdas de Pi Rodríguez?
Sí, claro.
Cuando tú estabas allá arriba, estaba Pi Rodríguez también.
Sí, sí, sí.
It's appropriate that it's a church now, I guess, you know, because it was, in that time, it was the church of entertainment, it was the church of release. The first time going there was as a child with my father. And there were always these Latin spectaculars. They showed you a movie, and then they had what we call Latino vaudeville. You had acts in between the movies. So you would see a singer, you would see a comedian, a juggler, I don't know, any number of things. They always had the spectacular. It always seemed always that they would drive a car onto the stage. You know, some local dealership had a deal going on, so they drive a new car onto the stage and show it to you. Federico Pagani was a promoter, had been a promoter in New York from the 30s on, the only promoter that worked that did Latin dances. And he threw a show where he put up on the marquee, you know, tonight only, you have Tito Puente, Celia Cruz, Eddie Palmieri, Joe Cuba, the LeBron brothers, Johnny Pacheco. I mean, he had every name in the business up on this marquee for $5, 2 shows, $5 each show. And my father said, come on, we're going to go see the show. We go in. And the show was at 5 o'clock. And 5 o'clock came by, nothing happens. But that's natural, right? You know, PRT time, Puerto Rican time, right? So you got 5, you got 5:10, nothing happens. 5:15, nothing happens. 5:20, nothing. Now people are starting to get restless, and you got to understand that Teatro Puerto Rico hosts like 3,000 people. It's the 6th largest theater in New York City at the time. Capacity-wise, it was the 6th largest theater. And people are restless, and they're throwing stuff up on stage, and the guy through Federico comes out, and he's like, dodging, you know, napkins and plates and whatever else they throw up. Cue me, cue me, cue me. And people go quiet, you know. There will be no show tonight. Man, it's like shocked silence, right? And he quickly follows up and he tells them, the truth is that my mother needed an operation and I needed the money and, you know, I couldn't just ask for it, so I decided to do this. And, you know, you people have been so nice to me over the years with all my dances. People are like, there's like 3,000 Puerto Ricans now. You gotta imagine, man. You would think they would rush the stage and kill this guy, but he had been responsible all those years. So somebody yells out, ah, fuck it, man, let him keep the money, right? It's only $5. And they start filing out, man, and Federico yells out, and don't forget, tell your friends, there's another show at 10!
One thing that's undeniable, if it wasn't for the Puerto Rican community of Spanish Harlem, of the South Bronx, Afro-Cuban music would never have survived in this country and expanded to the heights that it has.
At one point, when I heard Puente playing by the public library, I left my cab on 40th Street, running. It was running, and I ran into the park to hear Puente and find somebody to dance with. That's how I was affected by it. I mean, naturally, a bell went off in my head. I said, God, I better get back to that cab before I get a ticket or it gets stolen. But if I had found a dance partner, I don't know if I'd still have a job.
He was a mambo dancer, you know. Before he was a musician, he was a dancer, a professional dancer. So now he combined the ability to be so good on his instrument, but he was a dancer at the same time. Hito took the timbales and put him in front of the band, mainly because he had to lead the band. But he was another one who put the emphasis on the rhythm. And that's what helped the dancers really get into that mambo groove. See, when we dance, all of us, we dance to rhythm. So now you have this rhythm that's just pushing and driving like a bus going down the highway, man, driving and pushing. And then you got the melody behind you, man. So these people are dancing there behind them, you know?
When you dance a mambo, when you dance in salsa, man, you have to like be very on top of it. And there's the solo and there's, you know, the break. And the drum be playing and they mark it, mark it, mark it, mark it. And then it becomes this whole thing where you become one with the drum. The whole audience becomes one because the ritual of the beat is going at a certain tempo. And that creates, you know, that, what I call the hypnotic. Once you hit that cycle that it's happening, then you're already there, you're elevated. Then when the dancer moves in and he starts connecting with the drummer, which essentially is what hip hop is all about, connecting with the drum and the bass, then you're marking it. And if you're able to anticipate what he's doing, or that communication becomes so strong that you both are hitting at the same time, that's the moment where the whole room actually lifts up. You know, there's a spiritual aspect of it.
That was Tito Puente.
Drugs kicked in the Bronx 1953. And that was the beginning of the end because it spread like a cancer from the Bronx to El Barrio because of the close social link, you know, and it just continued. I saw it and I would tell people, man, it's coming, and nobody paid attention. And I had dear friends die of ODs and all that. It's tragic. But the fact that it altered the social scene was even more tragic because the dance halls disappeared.
Sale loco de contento con su cargamento para la ciudad, para la ciudad.
Nobody cared about the Bronx. It was a joke. You know, the city was going through its own bankruptcy. I think that was around the time that the feds told New York to drop dead.
Robert Moses, unfortunately, put a big dagger in the back of the community of the South Bronx with the building of the Cross Bronx Expressway.
I lived in the last apartment in a burnt-out building with my grandmother and my sister. And it was very, very scary.
One night, I woke up and my father and mother were like, let's get the hell out of here. The apartment across the hall, down one flight, was on fire. Where that fire escape is over there on the 4th floor, there was a fire there. And I remember going down the stairs, and there were windows by the stairway. And I still remember my father carrying me, and I could feel the heat on me coming off that thing. And you're not scared, it's just weird. It's like, okay, it's happening to somebody else. There were so many fires that, you know, so many fire alarms that you could dance to the sound of the bells. That's an image. That's an image, because I'm sure there's a lot of dancing, but I'm sure there's a hell of a lot of jumping.